Welcome to another Riz on my podcast. Cubs are on fire once again. They've reached the 80-win plateau. They are now 80 and 45. They're 35 games over, which is the first time they've been that far over 500 since September 25th of 2008. I think that year they finished with 97 victories, I believe. Man, it's so weird to think that it's not even September and the Cubs have 80 wins. You know, everyone was on the hype train before the season started, and so I shouldn't be surprised. Cubs were going to be good this year. Then the season started. They got the great start. Then before the All-Star break, they were 6 and 15. And ever since the All-Star break, they've been back to like being ridiculous. They've been on fire, as the song mentioned. It's just unbelievable. I think their run differential is now like 215 or something like that. They've scored, I think, now the most runs in the National League. I think they've passed St. Louis. I think they were close to St. Louis at one point, tied. Not last time I checked. I'm not checking as often, and I haven't been on here in a while because football is starting to already seep into my brain. And don't get me wrong, I'm checking Cubs box scores every night, but I'm not really watching the games each night as I was. I'm watching probably 2 games a week, whereas for the longest I was watching, 5, or at least parts of 5. But now, with football coming in, and it also has to do with the Cubs' ginormous lead in the NL Central, which I believe is now 13 and a half games. So that's why I haven't been on here in at least a week or so. But other things to talk about to kind of catch up since I haven't been on in a while. Other than the winning, obviously, lately, specifically like very recently, in the past week, Addison Russell. Oh my goodness, Attaboy, has 19 home runs now. 19 home runs and I think 82 RBI. He's just been going on a home run barrage. It's been ridiculous. His average is still in the 250s, which isn't great, but I think his OBP is around 330 or 40. So you can live with that OBP and that power from the shortstop position, and not just any old shortstop. It's any swinging dick out there manning that position. No, this guy could be the Gold Glove winner this year. Obviously, I'm biased, but holy good Lord, he's just been outstanding in the field. Whether it's the routine play, the highlight play. I mean, him and Javi Baez, I swear, go back and forth on who's gonna make the better highlight play on a particular night. Just outstanding. And I just wanted to send my sincerest thank you to Billy Beane of the Oakland A's. Thank you for giving us Addison Russell, who's now on pace to hit 25 home runs and drive in 102 RBI. Yes, that Addison Russell, who's all of 22 years old. Yeah, 22, and he's already doing this. I pictured him as a 20 home run shortstop. I just didn't think it'd be possibly before September of his second year. I mean, good God. Other things, Chris Bryant's still on a rampage. He's up to 33 home runs now, which is tied for the National League lead with Nolan Arenado. He's hitting 300, which is outstanding, obviously. He is second on the team in RBIs, but he's now just one behind Rizzo. Rizzo had a maybe like a 10 RBI lead on Bryant not too long ago, but he's now just one behind, 86. And speaking of Rizzo, he hasn't hit a lot of home runs lately, but he's been getting hits. He's now up to 298 for an average on the season. Just outstanding. The Brizzo, some people thought that whole Brizzo commercial might just jinx him. Oh, it hasn't. Not when one's hitting 300, the other's hitting 298. They both have OBPs north of 390. They both have slugging percentages 560 or higher, and both of their OPSs are 950 or higher. Just, good God. Other than that, just waiting for the playoffs at this point. Last night, Arrieta went 8 innings, and Madden was wise to pull him after that. It was 5-0. there's no reason he needed to go out for the ninth. So thank you, Joe Madden, for saving some bullets for one of the best pitchers in the National League. You think he finished with 99 pitches? So if he pitched the ninth, that could have been upwards of 110 or 115 by the time he was finished. Who knows? And that doesn't sound like a lot, another 10 to 15 pitches. But if you do that a handful of times until the playoffs begin, you could basically save a start in his arms, so to speak. You know, because Joe Madden's been pulling starters earlier and earlier lately, given the huge lead in the division and just the lopsided scores. So that'll hopefully pay dividends, because Arrieta was definitely out of gas after the one-game wildcard game against Pittsburgh. When he faced St. Louis and New York, you could tell he was tired, and he admitted it. So thank you, Joe Madden, for being smart, which shouldn't be a surprise. Oh, my little one's chiming in. Other things, the injuries. Right now, Lackey, Strop, and Rondon are all in the DL. And the Strop and Rondon, the Cubs have been able to feel it lately. The Cubs, as I said, were winning 5-0 last night. Well, it ended 5-3 because some guy named Pena came in, who I think's a rookie, and was just awful. And then Chapman had to come in for like the second time in a week to close out a game in which there was not a save opportunity to begin that ninth inning. So, Strop, Rondon, take your time, get back healthy, because the bullpen, it's going to need your help in the playoffs. Now it's fine. They have the luxury with the lead in the division and what have you to take their time with them. But definitely need those two guys back. That goes without saying, even though I just fucking said it. And Lackey, you know, he was penciled in as number 3 starter for the playoffs before the season began. But before he got hurt, people were raising the question, should Hendricks start game 3 of a playoff series? I think at this point, if Lackey's out for too much longer, I don't think you put him number 3. I think you go with Hendricks. I really do. And I also think it'll be beneficial to Lackey. He's 37 years old. This time on the DL, basically giving him a break. And as long as he comes back healthy and gears up, you know, ramps up towards the playoffs when he gets back, hopefully early mid-September, then he could be a better pitcher than he was before he went on the DL, just because he had that rest. I'm going to wrap it up. That was a little state of the Cubs lately. I mean, there's not much to say except fucking win. I mean, that's all they keep doing lately is winning. It's great. I'm enjoying every win, but at the same time, it's like, all right, I mean, this is kind of like, let's get through it. There's a whole nother month. Jesus Christ, come on. I mean, because everything is pretty much sewn up. But I think what's more fun right now is to pay attention to Bryant in the MVP race, enjoy Addison Russell's development, and see if Kyle Hendricks can maybe just come out of nowhere to win the Cy Young. I don't think so. He has a great ERA, but there's a lot of other numbers that don't match up. But I think it's time to start just paying attention to individual players. I mean, the team's on cruise control right now. Well, this has been another Riz on my podcast. Thank you for listening.